Hello everyone, my name is John Bussart. I'm an HPE Business Transformation Center engineer. I help support HPE servers, blade systems, storage, as well as Aruba networking technology solutions. In my videos, what I like to do is show you a slide from a popular PowerPoint and then demonstrate to you what that means within a management context. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to show you a couple slides, and then we're actually going to do an unboxing of a CX10000 series switch. So because we're doing this unboxing, I want to look at other CX series switches. So I happen to have a CX8300 as well as a CX6300 series switch that we're going to look at. And they all run the same AOS-CX series of software. Now these solutions can certainly be managed through Aruba Central, and that's the best of breed cloud-based management platform. Right? And not only manages switches, but it also manages access points as well as gateways through this centralized platform. But like I mentioned, we do want to focus in on the 10,000 series switch because this switch is special and kind of a new category of switches that are out there. This includes the Pensando DPU, which is a chip from AMD that exists within this switch, and it allows you to enhance your security posture within your environment. Right, now you do this with Pensando's Policies and Services Manager, or what they abbreviate PSN. This allows this CX10000 series switch to offer stateful software-defined services that are in line at scale with wire rate performance that makes it an order of magnitudes better over traditional layer 2 and layer 3 based switches. So let me give you an example of that. We'll say a zero trust network. All right, and maybe you have a security appliance, maybe a firewall or something like that that has policies on it. All right, and you're starting to send more and more traffic over to be examined by that policy. So as you do that, you introduce more traffic on your network, and obviously you increase latency within the environment. Now, if you could take those policies out of that security device and bring them closer to the application, even top of rack within an infrastructure, right, you could do wonders as far as reducing the network traffic that happens within your environment, as well as decreasing latency within your infrastructure. And that's really the magic of this solution, is you have the ability to be able to do that at wire rate performance. So with all that being said, let's unbox our 10,000 series switch. Alright, here's our Aruba 10,000 series switch. So this guy isn't even opened up yet. I normally open them up, but I haven't. So we're going to give this a roll for the first time, and we're going to take a look at what's in the inside of this guy. We can get this over here. Alright, so right off the bat we could see there's some rudimentary documentation. I'm sure if you're into regulatory compliances and things, you'll probably want to go through all of that. Over here, there's a couple power cords. This is a pretty significant switch, so you want to have redundancy on this. And we've got a couple of C13 to 5-15 P plugs. Back here, we have the rack mount kit. It's a 2-post rack mount kit. There is a 4-post available. Here we have some screws, the actual ears here, and another set of screws for the rack itself. Foam over here. Get back here. Now there is nothing in here. These two sections. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this out and get the wrapper all off of it. And we'll look at this switch in particular, as well as a couple other switches that I have within the CX series. All right, here is our Aruba 10,000 series switch. It's actually a 10,048Y6C, but this is the only one of the port configurations that they have with this. So if we take a look at this guy at the front, you'll see that this guy is going to have 48 ports here, 48 of SFP, SFP plus, SFP 28, which is 1 gig, 10 gig, and 25 gig SFP ports. And over here we have 6 QSFP plus or QSFP 28. That'd be 40 gig and 100 gig respectively. And then obviously over here we have the console port as well as the management port of this switch. Set this down, we'll look at the back. So we have 2 power supplies here as well as 6 fans, as well as some USB connections for serial over here. Over here is a tab that'll have your MAC address, your part number, and your serial number on it. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to take this, we'll set this here. And I suppose we can take out the power supplies and fans and take a look at it. So this is one of the fans. Again, there's 6 of these inside this switch. And then here's the power supply. Now the magic with this switch is that it has a Prasando DPU, or there's a chip on here, which you can actually enhance your security by using Prasando Policy and Services Manager, what they call PSM for short. This allows you to do stateful firewalling, secure segmentation, denial of service pack, as well as get like deep flow based session level telemetry on this chip. And this is all without installing an agent on the client devices. It's going to be all at wire rate performance. Right, so kind of the concept around this is that instead of having a security device on your network and passing all traffic to that, just to kind of hairpin it around and bring it back, is you can take some of those security policies and put them within the switch, right, and have that done at a very fast rate and closer to your applications within your environment. So that's kind of the secret sauce around this. I would seriously look at this if I had any enhanced level of security in the environment, and we're all looking at security, especially with all the ransomware things that are happening out there. Right? So this can help raise your security profile. All right, so let's take this and let's set the switch aside. Now I have another switch here. It is a 8300 series switch. It's out of the box already, and it came in kind of a beat up box, so I have that here. I'd say this is kind of the little brother to the 10,000 series. This will not have the Prasando DPU, so you're losing, that security chip within this environment. This one is a 8325 48Y 8C. So we have here 48 ports of SFP, SFP plus, SFP 28. So again, that's 1 gig, 10 gig, and 25 gig. And then over here we have 8, SFP plus, SFP 28 ports. So again, that's 40 gig and 100 gig connections here. Over here we have our asset tag. So again, our serial number, our MAC address, as well as our part number. And of course, on the top up here we have the management port. And over here we have a console port, and there's also a micro USB port for console as well. All right. Now we could also pick this up and look at the back. So again, this guy has 6 fans and 2 power supplies. So I'm sure people are going to start asking if the fans and power supplies are interchangeable. So let's take a look. So this is the power supply off the 8325. Let's go compare that to the one up at 10,000 series. So the 10,000 series is a little bit smaller. Let's also grab a fan. Here's the fan. Again, we'll compare that to the 10,000 series fan. So the 10,000 series has a little bigger fan. I'm sure it's to keep that chip cool. That DPO chip, that Persona DPO chip cool. Alright, so I've brought up SFP, QSFP, SFP Plus, these different types of optics that exist. So I thought it might be nice to kind of show you some of those optics. For example, this would be a DAC cable. Both ends would be 40 gig on this guy. They also make this as a cable, breakout cable. Again, this is a DAC cable. We're all using copper here. So this will be a 40 gig connection. And this one connection will break out to 4 10 gig connections. And obviously they make this end where it'll be a 100 gig connection, and these will be 25 gig connections as well. Okay. This right here would be a standard SFP. This has an LC style connector. Now they will use this LC style connector on the QSFP and the QSFP 28 ports. And here is the cable for that as well. So this is fiber. This would be a loop of glass that's actually in there. All right, and that would connect into here. So when you get to the higher speeds, the 40 gig as well as faster, you can see LC, that's kind of newer. There is an MPO connection which is also available. You'll need MPO if you need to kind of break out the connection to multiple type of connections. I don't have an example of that cable. I'm sorry, I don't have that handy. But just as long as you're aware, they do make them like this. But this is becoming a lot more popular. LC type of connections. Right, so I think that's enough with our 8325. So let's set that aside. I got one other switch for you that we can look at. It's out of its box as well. Right. But I do have the packaging that goes with it. So this is a 6300F. The F stands for fixed. If you look on the back of the switch, you'll see it has fixed fans and a fixed power supply. On the front of the switch, we have 48 1 gig ports, as well as 4 SFP, SFP Plus, SFP 28, or SFP 56. So these ports support all of that. So that's 1, 10, 25, as well as 50 gig connections. All right. And over here we have our asset tag again. All right, here is our management port, our out-of-band management port. There's a reset switch up here, and then there's a USB port over here. We're going to talk a little bit about that USB port real quick. But while we are on this connector, I have over here a boxed DAC cable. That was kind of interesting. I've already opened this up, but it'll give you kind of an idea of the experience. This would be a sealed package. This would be a 25 gig cable. So it's a 25 gig DAC. These will be the covers for it. And again, this would go in the front of that switch. The last thing I kind of want to talk about is the packaging. This is what came inside the box for this switch. It's pretty unassuming, except for one portion. Obviously, here's the cable again. That's C13 to 5-15P plug. Of course, rack mount ears and screws. But more importantly, we get this. And this plugs into that USB port that I had pointed out in the front. So this is a Bluetooth dongle that will allow you to do the initial configuration of this switch by using a mobile app. Right, so that's a feature that you can take advantage of with this switch if you want to deploy that in your environment. So that is our tour of an Aruba CX 10,000 series, 8300 series, as well as 6300 series switch. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned for more videos.